Hey everybody, Scott Spreitzer here, DocSports.com, and welcome to the report for Tuesday, October 23rd, 2018. We've got a free football play, Tuesday Night Football, coming up on this report. First, a quick note. If you have yet to become a member over at DocSports.com, give it a try. It's easy. You click on the link below the video, set yourself up for a free $60 account. You can use that on any of my daily packages or anybody else over at DocSports.com. And we've been red hot. We did it again last night, 2-0. We took the two teams from D.C. in NHL action. The Capitals got the win 5-2. And in the NBA, our first 7-star main event of the new season cashed with the Washington Wizards, plus the points on the road over Portland. And that brings our all-sports winning run now to 50-22 with our last 72. You don't want to miss out over at DocSports.com today on Tuesday, because I am involved in World Series action, game number 1. That'll be available at DocSports.com at 11:30 a.m. Eastern, 8:30 a.m. Pacific. So will the NHL. Not sure yet we'll be involved in the NBA, but if so, again, that'll be at 11:30 a.m. Eastern, 8:30 a.m. Pacific over at DocSports.com. Definitely involved in World Series Game 1 between the Dodgers and the Red Sox. Can't wait for the matchup, Kershaw and Sale. And again, it's available at 11:30 Eastern on Tuesday morning, DocSports.com. All right, wanted to mention also what's going on this week. The football plays, I've handicapped them, and they're going to be available on Thursday afternoon over at Doc Sports. We've got both a 7-star college football main event going on Saturday, a 7-star NFL play this week, and this is the first time this season that I've had 2 7-star plays from the 2 sports on the same week's card. That's what's going on this week. We enter on a 28-9 college football and NFL combined run. And in fact, if you look at the way we've done the last 4 weeks in college, 15-5, 75%. In the NFL, 68% winners on NFL Sundays for the entire season. And we're now on an overall 35-15-1 NFL run. Don't miss out. Strike while the iron's hot, man. And our top plays, by the way, 9-1 with our last 10 college football and NFL combined. Again, 2 7-star plays, 2 main events, 1 from college, 1 from NFL for the first time this season on the same week's card. It'll all be available Thursday over at DocSports.com. All right, it is Tuesday. That means NFL Week 7 recap time, and this video will take a little bit longer than most videos. We will have a free pick on the Tuesday night college football game coming up in just a moment. Let's get to it. Again, not in schedule order, just as we watch the games and jot down the notes from the various highlight reels, what we see with our own eyes throughout the games, and of course, all the good information that you can read scouring the net. Let's start with the Bills losing to Indy 37-5. Derek Anderson was the new Bills quarterback, just signed last week, and he ends up getting the start. He goes, 20 for 31, 175 through the air, but 3 picks. Bills turned it over 5 times in all. Kind of hard to blame Derek Anderson, just signed with the team and that terrible offensive line. This is a situation for the Bills now where the quarterbacks this season have 3 touchdown passes, 12 interceptions, and have been sacked 26 times. Interesting note, Andrew Luck now leads the NFL with 20 touchdown passes on the season. Well, the Browns played on Sunday, and that means overtime. 4th overtime game this season. The record is 5 in one season. Tampa Bay got the win. The Browns got the cover. 26-23 Tampa in OT. Calanzaro made that 59-yard field goal for Tampa Bay in overtime for the win. Tampa Bay actually, it wasn't even close when you look at the yardage. They outgained Cleveland 456 to 305, but you'll notice the difference in the plays in the game because both teams averaged around 5 yards per play. A little bit better gauge sometimes than the overall total yardage. Chargers in London knock off Tennessee 20-19. Tennessee got the cover. We had Tennessee plus the points. We were very happy with those results. Mariota, 24 for 32. That wasn't bad. 237 yards. 1 touchdown, 1 pick. 28 games in a row now where Mariota has thrown 2 touchdowns or fewer. Phillip Rivers, another big game, 19 for 26, 306 yards. Couple of touchdowns, no INTs. Rivers now has 17 touchdown passes and only 3 interceptions so far this season. He's the only quarterback in the league in the entire NFL who's thrown at least 2 touchdown passes in every game. As far as Tennessee, you know their offensive woes, and they're even worse now during this 3-game skid. They're averaging just over 10 points per game the last 19 straight games where they've scored 24 points or less in regulation. Texans knock off the Jags. The Jags are an absolute disaster. 20-7. Houston Bortles, 2 touchdown passes, 8 interceptions during this 3-game skid. He might not even start this week. Cody Kessler, who came in and played okay, was he like 21 for 30? He has been taking reps reportedly, or will be this week with the first teamers. But the Jags have been outscored the last 3 games in the first half, 57-0. I'll tell you what, man, if you watch Rodney Harrison on Sunday's NBC highlight show, he broke down what's going on with the Jags. It ain't just Bortles. That defensive backfield's an absolute disaster, and a lot of situations and problems going on right now between the years with a couple of their safeties who hardly even engage half the time the other day against Houston when they had chances to come up and make big tackles and didn't do it. It was Olay defense. It was Matador defense. Lions knock off the Dolphins 32-21. Lions ran for 248 yards. 3rd time this season. You might want to write this down when they face good rushing opponents. 3rd time this season, Miami's allowed at least 160 yards rushing in a game. The Vikings 37-17 over the Jets. Adam Thielen does it again. He's got 100 or more receiving yards now in each of his first 7 games. That ties an NFL record. The Jets only gained 3.8 yards per play. Sam Darnold, learning lesson this past weekend. 17 for 42, 206, a touchdown, and 3 picks. And the Vikings just shut down Isaiah Crowell, and he only had 29 yards on 11 carries. If he's not going to run well, they're not going to do well. Rams 39, the Niners 10. Rams average 5.4 yards per play to just 3.9 yards per play for San Francisco. And how about this note? The Niners are 2-28 straight up in their last 30 games when Jimmy Garoppolo's not starting at quarterback. 2-28. Panthers knock off the Eagles 21-17. Eagles have that great run straight up wise at home, but not in this one. They led 17-0 going in the 4th quarter. They led 17-6 with inside 5 minutes to go. They still lost the game 21-17. Cam Newton, big game overall, but how about in the 4th quarter alone? 16 for 22, 201 yards, 2 touchdowns. Carolina outgained Philly 226-22 in the 4th quarter. Philly unable to run the football and unable to keep the Carolina offense off the field over the final 15 minutes of game action. Saints got the win over the Ravens 24-23. Mr. Automatic Justin Tucker made 245 extra points in a row, and his first miss ever is with just seconds left in the game, chance to tie the game and send it to overtime against New Orleans. Instead, Baltimore loses. Breeze, another big game, 2 touchdowns, no picks. He now has 13 touchdown passes, 0 interceptions on the season. And by the way, the Saints, not unlike the Panthers, they outscored Baltimore 17-6 in the 4th quarter on Sunday. Patriots knocked off the Bears 38-31. Bears were the team that kept us from a perfect NFL card. We went 3-1 this week, but we lost with Chicago. The 2 special teams plays were the difference in the game. The Pats, by the way, how about this? They've scored at least 38 points in 4 straight games. First time ever for them in a single season. So those thoughts that some were making about the game passing by Belichick and Brady being done and the dynasty being over a few weeks ago, if you didn't think it was a joke then, well, you do now after hearing something like that. As far as the Bears, how about 3-3 on the season, but 3 losses by a grand total of 11 points. Big day for Brady. Trubisky threw too many passes, 50 of them. 2 of them were picked off, 2 went for touchdowns, 333 yards. And as far as we know about Sony Michel, the great New England addition at running back, looks like his knee injury is not as bad as once was thought to be. And going to miss a couple of weeks, it looks like, and then be week to week after that. So definitely good news considering what it could have been for Sony Michel. The Cowboys get beat by the Redskins 20-17. Zeke Elliott only 33 yards on 15 carries. He's got to get more yardage than that on the ground if they're going to win football games. Meanwhile, AP Adrian Peterson picked him up and put him down. 99 yards on 24 carries. It all came down to Brett Maher, a chance to make a 52-yard field goal to send the game to OT, and instead misses off the upright as time expired, and the Redskins got the win. Bengals and Chiefs, you saw that debacle for Cincy. Kansas City massacres the Bengals 45-10. Casey went 9 for 12 in third down conversions, 551 to 239 total yards. They averaged nearly 8 yards per play in the game, 198 yards rushing and almost 7 yards per play. Mahomes, another big game, 28 for 39, 358, 4 touchdowns, 1 pick. And then finally on Monday night, that weird game between the Falcons and the Giants, which we had an opinion on the Giants that we wrote up, but we just stayed away from the game as far as betting or giving this out as a premium play. Falcons won 23-20. Giants get the cover with 5 seconds to go. They score the touchdown. They get the 2-point conversion to cut it to 3 and hang that number. And the game finished well under the total, of course, even though it dropped a little bit during the course of the week. As far as the offenses were concerned, they did churn out yardage. The Giants 433, the Falcons 423. Both teams actually averaged about 7 yards per play. Eli Manning takes all the heat, but he goes 27 for 38, 399 yards, a touchdown, and no INTs. And he did so basically without a running game, and again without an offensive line, under constant pressure. Still puts up those numbers. I know he made a miscue at the end by running the ball twice. Quarterback sneaks out the goal line and watching that clock run down. But overall, when you've got no offensive line, to put up 27 for 38, 399 yards is pretty darn good, but it also is a testament to how poorly this Atlanta Falcons banged-up defense is right now. Ryan with the big game for the Falcons. But again, Giants couldn't get the ground game going. That's why they lost the contest for the most part. And those are your notes for Week 7 in the NFL. We do that every Tuesday morning, Monday night, Tuesday morning. After Monday Night Football, we put those notes here on the report. Also, if you want to see them and write them down, or I should say copy and paste them for your own use, go over to DocSports.com. Go to my handicapping page. That's the one that has all the packages. We have all that kind of stuff. And down at the bottom of the page, you'll see a link where you can click on articles. And it's not a formal article. We just post what we just told you and more for each and every game, notes as we see them throughout the day, watching the games, highlight shows, and what we see and read on the internet. And again, those are up every Tuesday afternoon over at DocSports.com on my handicapping homepage. If you want to see those even a little bit more in a little bit more detail, again, you'll be able to check that out. All right, again, Tuesday, we've got Major League Baseball Game 1 World Series. That'll be up after 11:30 a.m. Eastern, 8:30 a.m. Pacific at DocSports.com. We'll have NHL up, NBA. If we do get involved in those 3 games, not sure we will yet. Got some more handicapping to do. And the first game on the board has to be lined yet. So we'll check that out in the morning. But all the games, all those daily games will be released 11:30 a.m. Eastern, 8:30 a.m. Pacific time. And as mentioned, we're on a 50-22 all-sports winning run, so you don't want to miss out. Strike while the iron's hot. All right, let's get to our free play for Tuesday. It is Tuesday night college football. Troy laying a dozen points at South Alabama. And we're back in Troy on this spot. They're in revenge. They lost last year 19-8 to the Jags. I'm not a big revenge guy, but the Jags version this year is a mess on both sides of the line of scrimmage, unable to run the football, unable to adequately stop the run. They're 114th on offense in yards per game, 108th in defense in yards allowed per game, even with that 45-7 win over Alabama State in the mix. Troy's great against the run. Troy runs the ball well. They've been a true road warrior, 7-0 spread run on the road. And by the way, I don't normally care about, this team is 15-5 on Saturdays or Sundays or Fridays or whatever. But when it's an odd day like a Tuesday, I think it matters. It shows how a team and a program gets ready or isn't able to get ready for one of these odd weeknight games. And Troy's actually covered 6 straight Tuesday night games. So this program, at the very least, knows how to get ready for these Tuesday night contests. And, of course, they had a couple of extra days to do so. South Alabama, by the way, they've covered just 8 of their last 32 conference games. There's a push in there also. And we're going to back the team that has built bankrolls over the team that has burned bankrolls of late in conference play. We're going to back Troy minus the 12 over South Alabama, 12.5 over South Alabama on Tuesday night. Troy, your free play Tuesday night college football. Listen, we'll be right back here on a Wednesday morning, 4 a.m. Eastern, 1 a.m. Pacific with our next report. And if you like what you see, click on that thumbs up button. Be sure to subscribe. We appreciate those who have done so thus far. Let's put Tuesday in the win column. I'm Scott Spreitzer, DocSports.com.